Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today, this is the last video that I have recorded of the Newcrest build save file. So I'm excited to show you guys what I got. Honestly, I did do like a speed build recording technically, but I honestly kind of think that we're going to just like hop in and I'm going to show you like the tour of everything and kind of explain my vision of what I had, because if I remember right, I filmed one of these builds and then didn't film the one next door for some reason, and I think the reason was because I originally planned on the people living in these houses. I originally planned on doing like a Thanksgiving special with them, and then that just didn't happen. Life happened, you know, the whole thing. If you watched my last Sims build life update thing, you'll kind of know a little bit more of what's going on with that. Things are going better. We're feeling good in 2026 so far. So far, things are feeling good. And that's a good place to be, in my opinion, so that's where I would love to stay. But since I didn't do a speed build for the place next door, I think that I'm going to just cut to our loading screen. Hello. And let's just go ahead and tour these builds, and I'll kind of explain what my inspiration was, because honestly, I know that I say this every single time I do a speed build video, but I had a lot of fun with this build and making these characters, so I just want to share it with you and get into it. Also, spoilers, I pretty sure I talked about this like last fall, maybe like around last October-ish, like beginning of October, end of September. I've been working on writing my own like legacy challenge, and I've been like test playing it. If that's something you guys are interested in seeing, let me know. It's called Pack to the Future. It's like an every pack challenge, so it's kind of like whatever packs you own kind of thing. There's like stuff to do for it. I've been having a lot of fun. This is Generation 1 that you are seeing currently on the screen, so spoilers maybe if you want to play, if you want to see me play. If you're interested in a different legacy challenge, let me know and I'll get onto that, because I have been recording those as well. I just haven't decided yet if I'm going to be sharing them or not. I would love to. Again, I'm still trying to kind of get a feel of where we're at sim content wise, and I feel like maybe a little more in the spring when things get a little more finalized with the sale and what's going to happen, I might feel a little more confident of releasing this to the world. I don't know. Let me know what you think down below. Let's load a game. Okay. We are in this save. Okay. Alright, so as you can see, we have basically this entire downtown area of Newcrest built out. And it looks, if I do say so myself, phenomenal. And I'm loving it. I've had so much fun. This is something I've never done before, and I really wanted to kind of like branch out and push myself with The Sims and do things that I've never tried before. And building a Newcrest, where I have done it before, I've never done like a whole, like I've never built the entire thing of Newcrest, you know what I mean? So this has been a lot of fun to do, honestly. It's been time consuming, especially since this lot has like 6 different small businesses, but it's been a lot of fun and I'm loving it, how it's turning out so far. So the 2 builds that we're going to focus on today is these apartments over here, the comfy cubby apartments, and also the oak alcove townhouses. And I'm also going to introduce you into the townies that live in these places. So let's start with, maybe, is controversial the right word? Maybe the most risky one? if you would even call it that. I don't really know how to describe this. This is built with the... Hold on, what's going on? Can I not just like... Okay. Weird. This is built with the For Rent pack. Now, I know that the For Rent pack has been broken since it's come out, basically, which is a bummer. But I did try to, like, I tried to, like, finagle it a little bit. So, let me give you some backstory for a little bit. I built these around, like, August time of last year in 2025. At that time, I was really just kind of needing some, like, comfort in my life. And I was really watching Friends. I am obsessed with Friends. Friends is like my go-to comfort show. So I have always thought, every time I watch Friends, I have always thought, I want them to bring it back, but do it with the cast's children. And so that's kind of what I based this build and the townhouses off of. Is if that show were to exist, what would it be? So that's what this is. This is what this came to be. I will say it is kind of hard to see the whole, like, front of this build because the townhouses are right next door, but this is kind of what... That is not finished. That's gonna bug me. This is what the apartments are looking like, and I did make them so that they're facing like this way so that I could make more like room for like apartments. So technically there are 4 apartments, but only 2 of them are actually functional because of the fact that For Rent does not work, and if you have more than like 2 or 3 rentals, it breaks and it doesn't work. I also have not really played test with this a lot. I just kind of built it for fun and for my own enjoyment of, if Friends were to reboot and do this, what would it look like? So here is what I have for the outside. I love it, just nice and simple. And then out here we have some bikes that people are using. And let's get into what this has. So on the first level, you walk in, and like if you've watched Friends before, then you kind of know like Monica and Rachel's apartment, the like first floor, like when you enter in, there's like a little buzzer system thing to get you into the building. And then you have like mailboxes here, and then there's also a garbage chute. I'm pretty sure in the show they have like a garbage chute on every floor, because there is that one episode where Trigger is like declogging the machine, and Rachel comes and like clogs it back and he makes her cry. Anyway, it's a whole thing. So I do have mailboxes down here so that people can like come and get their mail in the main office. And then I also have just like some closets, just as kind of like space fillers, and also like, you know, I'm sure there's like, I don't know, plumbing or I don't know, cleaning stuff. And then I do have an electrical box in this room. So these rooms are meant to be, again, kind of just like filler rooms of like, maybe these are office worker rooms, like maybe the landlords come and they work out of these offices. So it's kind of what these are meant for. Did not finish this room because like really you're not really going to be playing with these rooms when you're playing like in with one of the tenants, so they really don't matter. So I honestly didn't finish that room. However, we do have a big laundry room on site, which is so nice when you are living in apartments, is to have laundry on site. So nice. I made it so it's kind of messy, like a bunch of people are living here, you know, but I did kind of make it a little bit like dingy, as if it's like an older kind of, dirty is not the right word, but dirty. Like they're older apartments, you know, like people have lived in these apartments for many, many years. So then you go upstairs, and this is the guy's apartment, where I think, oh my gosh, who lives here? Joey's child is roommates with Monica and Chandler's son. That's this apartment. Are you okay? Are you gonna survive? I'm sorry. If you need anything. That's honestly what got me through my day, that and banana chips. I'll be down in a second. So that is this apartment. This is the guy's apartment. As you can tell, there's like a salad being made and just out for some reason. The apartments are small though, very quaint and small apartments, just like in the show, just very small, very simple floor plan. Again, I had in my head of like, if this show were to come back, what would the layouts look like? And I was also envisioning like, what would the camera angles need to be to like get the full room, you know? I went hard with this build. This is also not done. So this is the guy's apartment. I will introduce the characters to you. Ideally they would have like next door neighbors, but again, just so that I can actually play with these people, I didn't make this into another thing because I didn't want to risk for rent breaking my save file, because I've put so much time and attention to detail in the Newcrest build save file that I would quite literally cry if something were to happen to it. So go upstairs one more time, and we have the girls' apartment. So this is where Ross and Rachel's daughter Emma and Monica and Chandler's child, twins with the sibling downstairs, this is where they live. And again, I will introduce you to them. But as you can see, I feel like it's very like Friends coded, you know what I mean? Like Chandler and Joey, they had kind of like the dude's apartment, where it was kind of like a little bit messier, you know, it's like dudes live there. And then this one is very like, you could definitely tell that like Monica's child lives here, you know what I mean? And I don't know, it's just fancy and girly and a little more put together and clean and organized, and it's still small. It's the exact same layout. I know that in the show they have like a bigger apartment. That's kind of the one unrealistic thing that I think like happens in the show, is there's like different apartment sizes, whereas like a complex is usually everything is the same size. Wait, well, okay, never mind. I take that back, because we did live in an apartment complex once and we had the bigger of the unit. It was weird. Anyway, we don't need to talk about that, but everything's the same size, just nice and small, and just, I don't know, fun and cutesy and girly. And then I guess there is an upstairs. I thought I made it so it was 4 apartments, but I guess you can have 6 technically. But again, these ones are blocked off, and same with their next door neighbors. So like, ideally they would have next door neighbors and upstairs neighbors, but it's The Sims. I don't want to break it. So, and then we just kept the landscaping really nice and simple. I love this build. I think it's so cute. I also used a lot of like the roof decorations and these things. I'm like forgetting what they're called now, but I feel like that just like really ties it into like the old-timey brick downtown apartments. I love this build so much. I know that you can't really see it because of the townhouses, but I love this build, okay? Okay, so before I introduce you to the characters, let me show you the townhouses really fast. Okay, so the Oak Alcove townhouses. Okay, so all of these, there's just 3 of them, and all of the units are taken up, but we're just going to go into build mode so that I can show you the townhouses. They all have pretty much the same layout. I think the middle one is just a little bit different, but the inside and outs, like the outside units, are exactly the same. So here is these units. Well, here's the outside. So there's 3 little units. So in this unit over here is where Phoebe, her son, her and Mike's son, Mike Jr., they live in this house, and then also Mike Jr.'s cousin, who Phoebe gave birth to. I feel like if you haven't watched Friends, all of this just sounds crazy, but yeah, Phoebe's niece Chandler lives in this townhouse right here, which was inherited to Chandler from her grandma. So let's get on into it. So this is Chandler's unit. This is kind of the place where I feel like everybody, like the Friends would come. This is like the hangout spot for the Friends group, right? Because it's a little bit bigger, a little more roomy. And I imagine Chandler being pretty similar to Phoebe, where she has kind of like an eclectic style. Maybe not everything matches. A little bit hippie, a little bit boho, a little bit, you know, she likes thrifted pieces and like stuff like that. She likes having unique things in her house, maybe kind of like a little grandma style, something similar to that vibe. And so that's kind of what I channeled into this townhouse for her. So this is the living room. I feel like it's super, super fun. And I also feel like she would be into like knitting or crochet work, or maybe this is stuff that like her grandma left behind. We also kind of have like some old-timey like grandma like curtains up in there. This is a TV. I loved this box. I don't know if you can use that for anything, but I feel like that's such like a cute little keepsake box that would definitely would be something that they have. And then we also have their kitchen, which is purple and fabulous, and I'm obsessed. And just like a little place for like sitting and dining and eating, because, you know, the Friends group, they did that a lot. And then upstairs we have 2 bedrooms. So one is empty currently, and then we have just like a small little bathroom. Again, these are like older townhouses, and so I kind of wanted to play into that nature. And they have like the pastel sink and like pastel toilet and stuff, and like the old-timey, like the tile countertops and the old like pastel flooring and stuff. This is Chandler's room. Again, very bright, very boho, very girly. Whoa, what did I just do? I just pushed the button on my mouse. I don't know what I did. But yeah, this is Chandler's room. Very, very fun, very cutesy. I don't know that they would have closets in this place specifically, but I did kind of make like a built-in for her. So I love that. I love this lamp. I feel like this fits the vibe so well, and this mirror as well. Just very fun, very fun. So down to Mike Jr.'s room, which is in the basement. So Mike Jr.'s story is he's like a band guy. He plays in a band, and he originally was roommates with Chandler Bing's son across the street, but then he had to go on tour and like didn't really say when he'd be back. So that's when Joey's son moves in with Chandler, and then Mike Jr. ends up moving in with his cousin with her newly inherited house. That's how I'm imagining the first pilot episode airing, okay? So here's his kind of humble abode. You can see he has kind of like his like music set up so that he can practice for his band. He has a cool room, just kind of nice and simple, because he really isn't there a whole ton. He's just kind of there to sleep, and that's about it really. And then they also have just like a small laundry room and bathroom situation going on right there. I don't even think I did like anything with their yards, just kind of separated them out. So this man, I'm forgetting what his name is. He really doesn't matter too much, but this is like an old man who has lived here his whole entire life. Him and his wife raised their children in this place. His wife has since passed, and he is just here. But I feel like he would be kind of like the kind, loving neighbor, you know, that sits on his porch and every now and then will give the friends like some advice. I feel like that would be his role in the show. So I made sure to make this one look very classic, very old-timey. It does have a half bath over here on this side, and then their kitchen is a different layout a little bit. I believe there's cabinets on the top. Whoa, wrong button. cabinets on the top. Yes, some cabinets on the top. And then downstairs, it's pretty cleaned out just because, you know, his kids used to live here, but they've since moved away and started their own lives. Also have a little bit of a laundry room. And then upstairs we have just his room. Again, his house is pretty cleared out because it's just him living there now. So I made sure to give him a bathroom, but that's the second unit. And then the third unit is a mom and her 2 sons that live here. They're not really anything to do with like what I think the show would be or anything. It's just like, they're just there really to kind of fill in this unit. I probably didn't need to put them in, but I'll just show you their house. I don't know that I'll introduce you to them because they're not like super specific townies necessarily. But let's start on the first floor for this one. It's the same layout basically as this one, just a little bit more like upgraded and updated. This is the updated version of what these are. So you can see that it's like pretty staged, right? Like it looks as if like a furniture company came in and staged it to like sell it. That's kind of what I was going for with this one because they're like newly moved in kind of thing. So we have just like a little seating area, little bookshelf. I thought these mirrors would be perfect right here. I never use these mirrors, but I feel like if like a staging company were to put any kind of mirror right here, it would be something like this. I don't know why. I just feel that way. And then we have like a fun fancy table. This little, it's on an island. What is this, a peninsula? Is that what that's called? Anyway, we have that. They do have a half bath up here, which is something that the older model on the other side doesn't have. And then like a little built-in pantry. Kitchen is still nice and small, but honestly, not bad. Not bad for the space. And then downstairs, there's an extra room. And then like I put a computer desk here. Oh. Okay, no, it is there. I was gonna say there was a TV here at one point, but it's still there. Just for some reason doesn't show when the walls are down. Anyway, laundry room's here. There is a TV here, even though you can't see it, and then a bathroom. And then upstairs, it's kind of the same situation. We have the master bedroom, another bathroom, and then this is the boys' room. So pretty similar, all in all. Again, nothing in the backyards. But yeah, so let me introduce you guys to these characters because they're based off of what I think the Friends' kids would be. And I want to share. I'm just excited. So let's do that. Can this be like my petition to bring Friends back? Like, I don't know who had it first, the title or the rights or whatever to it, but like hit me up. I have some ideas, okay? Like, let's get the ball rolling again. That show was fun and it's a comfort for like everybody. So hit me up. We'll get this going. Okay. So let me see here. How do I manage household? I want to show you guys. Edit. Okay, here we go. So we're starting off with the Tribbiani household. So we have Aaron Tribbiani, which is Joey Tribbiani's son. In the show, he doesn't get married, but I do feel like he would eventually. Yes, this is his son. I am still kind of trying to play around with the storylines of these things, but I feel like Aaron Tribbiani would just kind of be like your basic like labor worker. Maybe he's like a construction person or something. I don't necessarily think that he would follow in the footsteps of his father and be an actor, but I do think that he would have at least some kind of like manual labor job type thing is what I'm thinking for him. And then this is Jack Bing, which is Monica and Chandler's adopted son. And for him, I think he's a writer. I think that's what he is. And so for the storyline of the two roommates right here, I know that there's other people, I'll get into it, but for the two roommates, I feel like it would be good for Jack to be a writer and kind of be the one that's like kind of struggling a little bit financially, whereas Erin Tribbiani is the one that's a little bit more financially stable, because in the show it's opposite, and Joey's the one that kind of in the start is a little bit more struggling, and Chandler's the one that's a little bit more financially stable. So I feel like it'd be good if they swapped and Jack was maybe like a freelance writer, or maybe he's trying to like get a big break and work for like a magazine or something like that. I feel like he's a writer of some sort. That's his storyline. And then these three ladies are Erin's sisters, because Joey had, I think, like 7 sisters or something in the show. And there was one episode, I am such like a nerd of Friends, like it's insane. I can't tell you like what episode it is exactly, but there's one episode where Joey was needing some cash, and Chandler, there was like a job opening for like a temp worker in his office, and so he hired Joey, but Joey was going by Joseph, so that he was like playing as like a role because he's an actor. And his role, like the person he was playing as, had children, like he was pretending so that he could like fit in with the office people. And he had 2 girls, and then they had like a baby, like a pretend baby. This is all fake. And the 2 girls were named Ashley and Brittany, so I made sure to name the 2 older ones Ashley and Brittany. So this is Ashley Tribbiani. This is Joey's first daughter. I had a storyline for her too, but like I'm forgetting what it is now. I made her be a city native because I just kind of feel like that made sense at the moment. I should have wrote the storylines down, but I don't remember what they are now. I don't. Yeah, anyway. The sisters won't live with the boys. I just wanted them to be created and made so that if I do play with these Sims, or when I do, they'll like be in there with like the relationship title and stuff. This is Brittany Tribbiani, and I kind of have a feeling that Brittany and Mike Jr. might have a thing eventually, is kind of what I'm thinking, and then that'll kind of cause some tension in the friend group, but then it'll be okay because like they'll work out, you know. That's what I'm feeling. I feel like she is like the arts major of the family. She's the one that's like, because it's in New York, right? Like the show is, and so I feel like she's going to like the music academy school. Is it Juilliard? Is that what it is? I'm forgetting. I'm forgetting what it's called. But she's going to like that school. She's doing stuff like that. She's more into like classical music, but she has like a grunge look. That's what I feel like her storyline is. And then this is Chelsea. She is the youngest of the Tribbianis. And I feel like Erin's very protective of his sisters, but like especially of Chelsea because she is the youngest. So she'll kind of be starting off going to college. Like she's kind of like the freshman. She's the baby, right? So that is the Tribbiani clan. Hopefully this is making sense as like somewhat. Yeah. Hopefully this is all working out. Anyway, I also feel like maybe Chelsea and Jack might have a thing, but I don't know. I'm going back and forth between whether they should have a thing or if that's too much like mixing of the friend group. I don't think so. But anyway, it doesn't matter. This is all just in my head what I would want. So none of this matters. This is just, you know, whatever. Anyway, so these girls are the ones that live in the apartment above them. So let's go ahead and just pop on in and I'll show you these lovely ladies. So this is Erica Bing. This is Jack Bing's twin sister and Chandler and Monica's adopted daughter. And I think that her story is she's an interior design person. She loves like perfection just like Monica does. I think even though they're not like biologically related, I think that she definitely kind of got that little perfectionist quirk from her mom. And I also think that her story is, love has never really like worked out for her a whole ton, and I think that she will find herself coming out as a lesbian in the show, or maybe even a bisexual. I'm not really sure if I want her to be lesbian or bi, but I do think that that would kind of be Erica's thing. And then there'll be like this cute like moment where she talks to Monica, because obviously Chandler's since passed. Rest in peace. And I think that her and Monica will have like a cute little like moment where Monica says like, hey, like love is meant to be shared with, you know, whoever you love. Or she'll say something like, I accept you for who you are, and love is a beautiful thing, like no matter who it's with. So I think that that's kind of the storyline for Erica. So I went ahead and gave her the romantic explorer aspiration. And then this is Emma Geller, which is Rachel and Ross's child. And I based her off of the actress Courtney Cox, her like actual daughter. Let me see if I can find a picture really fast, because I feel like she looks exactly like what Emma Geller would look like. Look at this picture. Tell me that that doesn't look like what Ross and Rachel's kid would look like, right? So I tried to make the sim look like her as much as possible, but I'm not really good at making sims look like real life people. So I did my best. But this is Emma Geller, and I think that her storyline is she's just kind of trying to figure out like who she is as a person, because her dad is very smart, like scholarly smart. Like he's a professor at a college and teaches about archaeology and like dinosaurs and stuff. And then Rachel, she is a fashion Mongol and is like killing it in the fashion industry. So I feel like she probably, as like a part-time side thing, is maybe a model for whoever Rachel is working for. But she doesn't necessarily want to have that like lifestyle of being a model. She kind of wants to branch out and do something else. For a while I was kind of debating her being maybe like a nurse or something, but I don't know, that just, I don't know, it didn't really seem like it was right. So I still don't really know what she'll end up doing, and I guess that's kind of like the whole point of like making stuff like this, or like making things up in your head, is like, if it were to happen, here's a storyline they can run on, right? But I gave her the friend of the animals aspiration just as something a little bit different. Yeah, but that's kind of what that is. And then her and Erica, both kind of like Monica and Rachel, are just kind of two girlies living together in the city. Two little best friend girlies just trying to find their way through love and romance and jobs and all the craziness of life. So that is the two girlies. So now let me show you the Buffet household. If everyone has clicked off this video by now, it's fine, I don't blame you. I feel like I'm confusing myself. But okay, this is Chandler Buffet. She is the oldest of the friend group. Okay. Also, let me pause for a second here, because if they were to reboot Friends and do something like I'm talking about, of like where the kids are the stars now, it would be perfect for the timeline purposes, because I believe the last kids were born in 1999 or in 2000. I don't remember which year, but they would be the same age as like the cast of Friends they'd be the same age starting off as what the OG cast was starting off. So I feel like it would be just like perfect time, right? I feel like it would make sense, okay, to do a reboot right now with like the children. Okay, anyway, this is Chandler Buffet. This is Phoebe's niece, but Phoebe's brother and his wife, they couldn't like conceive a kid by themselves. So they used Phoebe as a surrogate. So Phoebe technically gave birth to Chandler. It's a whole thing. Just watch Friends. But this is Chandler Buffet. They are a they them pronoun. And they are bisexual. They're just kind of, they go with the flow and they go with who vibes, you know, the best with them. I feel like Chandler and Erica will end up together in the end. That's their storyline. The reason why Chandler ended up with her grandma's house is because I feel like her storyline would be, she is recently divorced. In the show, in the very first season, the very first episode, Ross is recently divorced. So I feel like since Chandler is the oldest of the group, it would make more sense for her to be the one that's recently divorced. And I feel like the reasoning behind her being recently divorced is because of her husband had a issue with the sexuality, and they got married because they loved each other and cared for each other so much, but it just, the problem for him never went away. And, you know, it's a sad thing, but it does happen. But so that's why they end up breaking up. And then she moves in with her grandma, and then her grandma passes and leaves the townhouse to her. So then she's left with the townhouse on her own. And Phoebe is an art teacher, is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like maybe she does art teacher in like a high school or something, and then also on the side like art teacher for like a community college or something. But that's her storyline. And then we have Mike Hannigan, which is Mike Jr. He's the band guy. He's the one that gets the girls. That's like his thing. He comes back from tour, finds out that Jack being moved into his own room. So then Chandler says, well, hey, like I have my grandma's house and I can't afford it by myself, so you can move into the basement. So that's how he ends up living with his cousin. And then, because I think Chandler will be quirky like her aunt, Phoebe, she also has a pet raccoon named Tom. I don't know. I feel like that was like another fun little touch. So yeah, these characters I was supposed to introduce to you guys in November. I wanted to do like a big like Friends Thanksgiving episode. But it just didn't work out, and that's okay because I'm introducing them to you now. I'm introducing them to you now. And yeah, that was me rambling about wanting my all-time favorite show to reboot and throwing out an idea. So I hope you guys enjoyed me rambling about Friends and showing you, at least there was some like build content, you know? There was something in here, I hope. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know down below if you're a Friends fan. Let me know down below if you agree with my idea, with my thoughts. What do you think? I think that it would be so fun, and they could really make it work, especially with like this day and age. And like, yeah, like I said, hit me up, whoever owns the like title to Friends, or however it works. I don't know how it works. Hit me up. I have some good ideas. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for allowing me to spend time with you today. If I was an entertainment for your eyes or just background noise for your ears, I appreciate it. It means the world to me. I don't even think I said this in the very beginning, but let me give you guys a reminder to hit the subscribe button down below. Not all of my videos are this rambly and chatty and random. It was just something I was excited about and needed to share. So, but yeah, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. We do have a lot more Animal Crossing content coming out. I want to start back up with Fabledom. There's a lot more Sims content coming out as well, so don't miss out on anything. And also, if you guys could leave a comment and a like, it just helps my video to get out to the algorithm so that we can make more internet friends along the way. And until the next time, I will see you guys around real soon. Bye, guys.